Hi everybody, it's Patrick. A question I get all the time is, I send my shirts to the cleaner because I want them pressed. You know, they're so easy to wash and they're so easy to iron. And I thought I would show you how so that you can get that gorgeous finish at home, you know, just like when you send them out to the laundry. But it's so much better for your shirt, it's so much better for you, and quite frankly, it's so much better for your wallet. I can't believe what they charge for that anymore. So I'm going to show you how to iron a shirt beginning to end, and I'm going to show you a few little tricks and some tips to make it an easier process and to get that really beautiful finish. We need an iron, obviously. If you want to use spray starch, absolutely. Just pick up your favorite spray starch or sizing and use it, but you're also going to need a bottle of water. The water is going to help you get steam, and steam is what gives you the beautiful finish. So, bottle of water, iron, spray starch if you want it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unbutton the shirt because we need it open. This happens to be one of mine. So we're going to unbutton the shirt, and the first thing we're going to do is pop the collar because we're going to iron the collar first. The reason you iron the collar first is because, this one has a collar string in it. The reason you iron the collar first is you want to iron the parts that aren't on the front, basically because you don't want to give yourself a chance to re-wrinkle. So spray it with a little bit of water, and the reason you do this is because you want to create extra steam. Steam is what gives you the beautiful finish. If you want to starch, you know, some people just starch the collar and cuffs. If you want to, go ahead. But then we're just going to iron the shirt. We're going to iron all the way across the collar, beginning to end, like this. And now here is the most important part. Give it a couple of seconds to dry. So, like 2 or 3 seconds, because you've pressed it and you've created the steam, but if you pick it up immediately, it may give it a chance to wrinkle. So give it a second to dry and then move on to the first sleeve. So we're going to do the 2 sleeves next for the same reason, because the part we want to be perfect is the front. So we're going to lay the sleeve out, and what you want to do is kind of match up this bottom seam. You're going to iron the bottom seam and spread out the body of the shirt, or the body of the sleeve, I should say, so that the seam is smooth right across the bottom. Give it a little spritz, and then iron right over the top of it. And you know, I'm not pressing, like, I'm not, you know, trying to just go after this sleeve. I'm just ironing it, giving it a second, and then I'm going to iron the cuff. And to iron the cuff, you just flip it open. And I didn't spray it with water, but it's going to be okay because it's still wet. Okay, so we did one sleeve. We're going to repeat the process on the other side. It's funny, when my mom does this, she actually irons both sides of the sleeve. But I find if you spray it with a little water, there's enough steam to achieve the result. You don't have to do both sides. So, a little water and iron. And I'll tell you, I mean, I happen to be using a Laura Star iron, of course, which you know I love. But the same thing works. I mean, it works even if you have a $20 iron or a $300 iron. You know, the same effect works. I'm going to open up the cuff, and I'm just going to iron edge to edge, and just get the cuff. And then I'm going to let it rest a second so that it's smooth. So, the ironing board was made by a tailor, and it was made to use this way, but you can't always do it because sometimes you have a rest over here for your iron or whatever. But if you have a full-size ironing board, the easiest way to do this, and it's a little controversial, but it's right, is you pull the shoulder into the wide part of the ironing board. When you do that, it actually pulls the whole front on at one time. So you're going to spray it with a little water, and you're going to iron, and you want to start with the side that has the buttons. Now, I called this video How to Iron a Man's Shirt, knowing very well that women also wear tailored shirts. So whichever way your shirt buttons, you want to start with the side that has the buttons. Then you give it a second to cool, you pick it up, you flip to the back, and when you flip to the back, you're going to pull the shirt into the shoulder, and you're going to get this half, smooth it out, give it a spritz, and iron. Give it a second to dry. The body will dry pretty quick. Pull it to the other side. And see, here's the seam of the shirt. The shoulder is lined up. If you have to do this on the little end because you have a rest here or something, that's okay. You just move it more times. You get the same result. So, iron. There we go. We're going to give it a second. And then we're going to do the side that has the placket, which is the buttonholes. There's a reason for this. If you look at a shirt, the first thing you will always see is the placket. It's the very first thing you notice on a shirt. So because of that, it's the very last thing you want to iron. And the reason you want it to be the very last thing you iron is so that when I take this off and hang it up, the placket is perfect. And the reason the placket will be perfect is because you're not going to move this shirt again. Once you iron the placket, all you're going to do is pick it up and put it on the hanger. So I've sprayed it with a little water. I'm ironing over the front. Making sure everything is smooth. And then once I get the front done, I'm going to kind of give a little tug on the placket, and I'm going to iron down the placket because I want the placket to be perfect. So there we go. I'm going to give it a few seconds to dry, remembering that because the placket is so many layers, it's going to take an extra second or two. Then that's when you pick it up. Now you flip the collar back, button the top button, because that's what's going to hold it on the hanger, and put it back on the hanger. So when you do that, kind of situate it back. I don't button the shirt back, but now the shirt is perfect. The sleeves didn't wrinkle. I mean, they're not really going to, but if anything were to go wrong, you want this to be perfect because this is what you're going to look at. So that is how you iron a shirt. It's super, super easy. And that took, what, 3 minutes maybe? 3 minutes, 4 minutes? But you couldn't drive to the dry cleaner, pick your shirts up, bring them home in the amount of time it takes you to just iron them all. So it's a very easy thing to do. Iron, some water, some spray starch if you want. You would just add spray starch and water. You can't substitute. If you want to add spray starch, just spray both. But it'll give you the great results. I hope this was easy. I hope it was fun. If you have any questions, oh, for heaven's sakes, go ahead and ask them down below. You know I'm going to answer you back. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.